We will see a time in which the Chinese economy is bigger than the U.S. economy.
Someday, they got 4 times as many people, and logically, they will grow and grow, and we're the 2 superpowers.
Are they going to grow as fast as they have been growing?
It's hard to tell. No, I don't know the answer to that.
But they've got some issues. They've got issues.
Sure.
They've got issues of.
They've
got issues of debt. They've got issues of.
Everybody's got issues.
Demographics.
Yeah, everybody's got issues.
Yeah, those kind of issues.
Everybody's got issues.
They've got also issues.
We've had issues throughout the history of the United States.
They've also have issues of the environment and climate. The UN just released a report, and we have heard it, and we constantly hear it. How worried are you about our success in protecting the planet?
Well, the biggest threat, obviously, is nuclear weapons, but it doesn't mean you don't protect against other things. Right. And if there's a 1% chance, even, and it's way high, I can't quantify it, but if there's a 1% chance of something causing the world trouble, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, we ought to be working on that too.
Are we doing enough?
We're doing a lot. The problem is, of course, that it requires the whole world to do a lot.
There are a lot of problems like that, including the pandemic, including the environment,
sure.
that transcend national boundaries and need cooperation.
The virus doesn't have to clear your immigration.
No, it doesn't. The virus does not have to clear immigration.
No, that's that simple.
It can be brought in by one person.
There's a lot of other things that aren't physical viruses.
When you look at Tim Cook,
I think he's terrific. It's that simple. I've written that in the annual report.
Yes.
And he is.
He's a great manager.
He's not only a great manager, he's a great human being, but he's a great manager too. He's an incredibly great manager, but he's a great human being.
What do we look for in a great manager?
You look for you look for somebody that has
results.
You look for somebody that has ability of trust and character.
Ability, trust, character.
Yeah, somebody you can trust. Same thing you want in a spouse. Charlie always says you want to marry somebody better than you are. He says in my case that leaves the whole world practically. But it's the truth. I mean, you always want to be around people who are better than you are. They pull you in the right direction.
What's the chemistry? What's the nature of the relationship between you and Charlie? It's a long.
1959, his father died. He had worked in the same grocery store as I had in 1940. I worked there in 41. And we never met. I didn't know his name. And his dad was, well-known all on, but I just didn't happen to know. I was a kid, and we moved to Washington. And so it was a name
Your dad went to Congress.
I never heard his name until 1959. Or no, I heard the name when I met the day. It was maybe 57 or 58. He came to Omaha in 1959. We met. And it's been, the best relationship except others I've had, in family and so on. But it's been, he's been the person, along with Tom Murphy and a fellow named Joe Rosenfield, subsequent to my dad, that I didn't want to disappoint. Good to have somebody in your life you don't want to disappoint. It's enormously important. Makes you a better person.
Do you disagree on a lot of things, or?
Well, we've never argued. We've never had an argument. People say, "Well, that's impossible." I'm telling you, we've never had an argument.
But you could say, "I believe this," and he says, "I believe this." You just don't argue about it.
Yeah. But we don't even have to say it hardly. We may know where that I would say this or that. Why bring it up?
He, I think, has expressed some concern about about index funds.
I support everything Charlie says. but I don't agree with it. I don't mean on that. I mean, it doesn't mean I agree with him on everything, and he doesn't agree with me on everything. And we've never had a problem with that since '59.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
What about him?
Jeff is a friend of mine, but I probably see him personally. I see him once a year, probably. Yeah. And I can't recall ever talking to him on the telephone. Maybe I have. Or I've never sent him an email. But I don't know how to send emails.
you know how to get them, son.
Yeah. No, I've got a system, but I don't. I literally don't know how to send an email.
You seem to have done okay without knowing.
So far.
But you once said to me, he's one of the smartest businessmen.
Oh, absolutely.
And the proof is in the pudding.
I read his annual reports. I see him once a year. I've usually seen him once a year in Sun Valley. And I enjoy that. And actually, at Sun Valley, at the Allen & Company conference, we've had a dinner that a few of us had in. And so I've probably had at least 3 or 4 of those.
It's remarkable to see a company which was founded on selling books now is a technological giant.
It couldn't happen, but it did. When Jeff was at McKinsey, I don't know whether they drove cross country from New York to Seattle, but if they'd stopped at Omaha, and they I didn't know him then. But he'd say, "What do you think of this idea?" Good luck, Jeff.
Yes, but you have told me that he, at times, would come up to you and have questions if you were making a presentation at a conference.
Yeah, at Sun Valley. Yeah. He's a very, very, very smart guy. And, I think, look, a good bit of his fortune is going to help society in various ways.
The Giving Pledge is?
Well, he's got his own plans on that.
But
Mackenzie's joined it. She wrote a beautiful letter. If you haven't read it, go to the...
Mackenzie's his former wife.
Yeah, and go to the Giving Pledge, where we've got all the letters, and you will not read anything more beautiful than what Mackenzie has written.
And she's doing it.
She's doing it, yeah.
She's doing it.
It's not just talk.
She's really making contributions
she's doing exactly
to black colleges and lots of other things.
Charlie, she is doing exactly what her inner self, and which she has expressed through the letter she's written, and some other things too, but the letter she wrote, the Giving Pledge. She's expressed a philosophy of life that I think is as good a model as anybody can find. And I've only met her twice, maybe.
And Melinda Gates is also.
Yeah.
And Bill continues to make a huge impact on philanthropy.
And they do it,
and especially during the pandemic.
Not with just money, they do it with time.
They're on the scene.
They do it with time. They give up. Time is the most precious thing you've got, pretty much. And they do it with time. They are giving something. They're giving something I'm not willing to give.
Time.
That much time to that.
Yeah.
I'd rather give my time to Berkshire.
Because
that's what I enjoy doing.
And that's what you do well.
Yeah, it's what I do well, and it produces money, and that does well for other people, but it doesn't. It'll do better if it's given by other people.
But that was a choice you made when you gave them.
It's a choice I made a long, long time ago in terms of Susie and so on. But yeah.
Right.
Somebody's going to do something with the money.
And
those are claim checks on the output of others, productivity of the world. You can redistribute it to places where it's needed more. And I am all for that. I just don't want to do it myself. I'd rather do what I'm doing.
Speaking of time, I have a few more minutes of your time. So let me ask these final questions. Have you achieved pretty much everything that you wanted out of life?
Well, the truth is, yes, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow, too.
Any regrets?
Well, if you look back, you can always say, I should have done this or that. But I'd be nuts if I look back on my life and said, you haven't been the luckiest guy imaginable. And I will say this, aside from sickness and death, everything I thought was bad at the time has turned out well.
And when you say you've been the luckiest guy, I assume that means community and family, but it also means, in your case, as you have said often, the country that you live in.
Totally. Charlie, if I'd been born any place but the United States, my life would have been totally different. And incidentally, it helped to have the parent I had to. But the United States is essential. It's given me everything.
And your dad was the man you most admired.
Yep.
Why was that?
Well, I never saw him do anything in his life that he didn't believe in. Turned out I didn't agree with him on things later on. I mean, I accepted this.
Sure.
When we sat around the dinner table in the 1930s, my dad was the most anti-Roosevelt person you can imagine. So you almost had to say something bad about Roosevelt to get dessert, or something. but my sisters and I grew up with that. But that's okay. He didn't. Anything I did, he supported, as long as I was behaving okay. And even when I didn't behave okay, he never gave up.
It came out this week that you are one of the 5 richest people in the world. On that list was, ahead of you was Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and the man from France, Arnault. What does that mean to you?
It means I can direct the way a whole lot of money goes just back to society. But what really means something to me is the record of Berkshire. That's what I've done. The money flows out of it, but I paint the painting. The world can bid on it at auction. But that is fun, and it's been fun. It's been way more fun doing it with Charlie as my partner than it would have been alone. It's incomparable.
So the legacy is Berkshire Hathaway.
Sure, and it's my friends. And
that is a perfect segue to my last question. If you were giving one last lecture, what would you want to say? I'd probably talk about what's been important to me in life and how they should decide what's important to them in life. And so what's been important to you in life?
Well, it's all been, whatever it is, I've done it. I've got a family I feel terrific about. I got a business, and I've got millions of people who have trusted me.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks, Charlie. It's always fun.